big compared to the rockets we use today. Now, the Mercury capsule itself is the little black nose cone on the top of the rocket. It's only designed to hold one astronaut on board. Now, it was such a tight fit for the Mercury astronauts, so the Mercury astronauts claim it was such a tight fit in there, they actually had another name for it. They also called that capsule Spam in a Can.
Yeah, it looks like Spam.
Hi, I'm Emily Calandrelli, and I'm excited to go behind the gates at Kennedy Space Center and experience the incredible achievements of NASA. I'm standing next to a real Mercury Redstone rocket, the same rocket that began NASA's journey of human space exploration. Our trip today will begin at the same Mercury Redstone spaceport. So while the crawler may not stay in one area for very long, it's bound to be out here somewhere. Now, let me introduce you to my friend, John Giles, the Crawler Project Manager.
I'm standing in front of Crawler Transporter number 2 at Kennedy Space Center. Crawler Transporter number 2 will be used for the SLS program to take the launch vehicle back and forth to the pad. We will begin by going underneath the mobile launcher. We'll pick it up, we'll take it over to the VAB. They'll then assemble the launch vehicle on top of the mobile launcher, and then we'll come back to the VAB. We'll slide underneath it again, we'll pick it up, we'll take it out to the pad, a trip of about 4.2 miles. It'll take us about 7 hours to get there. But during our trip to the launch pad, we'll roll over a specially prepared crawler weight that consists of anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of special rock. Below that is limestone that's about 4 feet thick and compressed to hold the weight of the crawler. And then below that is some hydraulically compacted sand that can support all the weight. And then once we're there, we'll drop it all off. And a few days later, there'll be a launch. We'll come back, we'll pick the mobile launcher up, and we'll bring it back to the VAB to start the process all over again.
With 50 years and some 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles on the clock.
Parking space.
Okay.
This is Crawler Transporter 1. Now, the Crawler Transporter 2 is going to be somewhere out here on the crawlerway, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for it. Crawler transporters were built by the Marion Power Shovel Company based in Marion, Ohio in the mid-1960s. And at the time of assembly, they never put a reverse gear in them. And they still don't. Instead, they have 2 driver cabs. So on the front and back side of a Crawler transporter, there's a little gray box that's kind of detached from the main platform and has all the windows in it. That is one of the driver cabs, just to be able to move it in one direction. Now, a Crawler transporter also has 8 tracks on it. Each track has 57 cleats. Each cleat weighs in approximately 1 ton. Now, also as we make our way around, we're going to find these large gray platforms and these large gray pedestals, like the one coming up here to the right. These large gray platforms are called mobile launch platforms. More specifically, these 2 that we're going to see are 2 of the 3 original mobile launch platforms that we used for the Apollo program, and then later converted to the Space Shuttle program. Well, mobile launch platform number 3 was just recently leased out to Northrop Grumman Corporation, and they're in the middle of modifying it to support their new heavy lift rocket called Omega. Well, Omega is going to be assembled inside high bay number 2 of the vehicle assembly building and to be launched from launch pad 39B when NASA's not using it for a space launch system rocket. Now, coming up ahead and to the right is mobile launch platform number 1 on these 6 pedestals, and this one is still set up for the Space Shuttle program. So as you see it weighs in about 9 million pounds. But underneath you can find 3 large cutout openings underneath the platform, and these are called exhaust ports. This is where all the heat, the flame, and exhaust would pass through the platform down below into the flame trench of the launch pad. Now, the new mobile launcher platform for the Space Launch System rocket was completed in September of 2018 in this very same location to our right. And it's been about 9 months afterwards inside high bay number 3 of the vehicle assembly building, getting the final finishing touches added to it, such as the crew member access arm and white room. Well, now that mobile launcher platform is now sitting on launch pad 39B. It's going through what they call a wet test. It's basically a function test of that new mobile launch platform, making sure everything is working as it should before they bring it back into high bay number 3 and start stacking the first SLS rocket on top of it. Now, up ahead to the right, we're coming around on the east side of the vehicle assembly building. And the closest set of high bay doors from us on this side is high bay number 3. That is where the SLS rockets will be assembled and rolled out in the near future.
Another bit on the scale, it's like you put the Roman Coliseum on the roof. That's the room for parking lot.
We're inside the VAV at level 26.
Looking on the left-hand side as we make our way around the perimeter fence of the launch pad area.
SpaceX, the venture started by tech entrepreneur Elon Musk in 2002, signed a 20-year lease for the use of Pad 39A. You may have watched their Falcon Heavy test flight, the one that sent a Tesla Roadster into space. This is where it launched. The Falcon Heavy rocket is currently the most powerful operational rocket in the world by a factor of 2. SpaceX made history in 2012 when it delivered their Dragon spacecraft into orbit to rendezvous with the International Space Station, making SpaceX the first commercial company ever to visit the space station.
You can see that same Dragon capsule back at the visitor complex in the NASA Now exhibit. Since then,
A 42-mile stretch of beach where part of it is actually highly restricted access beach. And it makes it prime real estate for sea turtles in the springtime. They can come up and lay the sea turtle eggs onto the beach side. Between the months of July through October, those eggs are starting to hatch and little sea turtles get to run back out to the ocean waters without human interference. Now, back over here to launch pad 39A to our left. I'm going to talk about some of the structures of this launch pad. First off, the black tower is mounted on top of the launch pad. That is actually one of the oldest pieces of equipment out here because that tower originally was bright orange and it was part of the umbilical tower to the Saturn V mobile launch platform. Now, after the Apollo program, NASA took 2 of those towers off 2 mobile launch platforms, mounted 1 tower on launch pad 39A and 1 on 39B, and it became part of the fixed service structure for the space shuttle program. Now, the white candlestick on the top of the tower is a lightning suppressor. It's designed to protect the space shuttle from lightning strikes, as the space shuttle would sit on the launch pad for at least 30 days, if not more, before a launch. Now, also on the black tower, you'll notice there's a white arm kind of sticking off to the left near the top of the tower. That is the SpaceX crew member access arm and white room for the for their Dragon crew capsule. Now also we have these large white golf ball style tanks like the one just here to our left in large red lettering. These are cryogenic storage tanks. Now the one here in red lettering are marked for liquid hydrogen. On the opposite side of a launch pad area you can find another tank in similar size. It is marked in green lettering for liquid oxygen. Now both of these cryogenic fluids we use as fuel to power the 3 main engines of the space shuttle. So about 5 to 6 hours prior to a liftoff of the space shuttle, we were pumping liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen into the external fuel tank. Now SpaceX, on the other hand, they use a different fuel to launch their Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets, called RP-1, Rocket Propellant 1. This is a very refined kerosene.
A large amount of modifications over the past bunch of years. Mainly, we tore down the fixed service structure that was here for the shuttle, the rotating service structure that was here during the shuttle. We modified a lot of the large piping systems.
So much has changed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be coming up on launch pad 39B straight ahead of us. It's going to be on our right-hand side as we make our way around the launch pad area. Now, at the top of the launch pad, you'll find a dark gray platform and a tower sitting on top of it. That is the new mobile launcher platform for the Space Launch System rocket. The platform and tower combined stand just over 40 stories. It's over 400 feet. Now on the tower, you'll notice there's a large arm that has a blue bag tied around the end of it. That is the crew member access arm and white room to be designed to fit with the Orion crew capsule that Lockheed Martin has designed and built for the SLS rocket. Now, Lockheed Martin builds the Orion crew capsule on site here at the Kennedy Space Center just to the south, and they already have 3 capsules built and ready to go for the first 3 SLS rocket launches. Now, the Orion crew capsule is also can seat 4 astronauts on board.
Other than the concrete we're standing on and some of the minor things underground, everything is brand new.
91,440 meters of fiber optic cable. The 3 lightning towers, each 600 feet, 183 meters high, taller.
It's my pleasure, and I hope all of our guests enjoy your day and exploring the visitor complex and learning about NASA's rich history and also the exciting plans that we have ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, up ahead, returning back to the vehicle assembly building, and we also have the Launch Control Center up ahead, the white building with the dark tinted windows. The Launch Control control center contains 4 firing rooms inside. Fire room number 1 on the far right, fire room number 4 on the far left. 2 and 3 are in the middle, next door to each other in sequential order. This is the central control hub for both launch pads 39A and 39B. Now over here to our left, we're going to find this long, looks like a long white building with a curved aluminum roof on the top. As actually the Pegasus, the barge Pegasus. This is the boat. This is the barge that would bring in the components for the Saturn V rockets from Louisiana, and also the external fuel tanks. Now the same facility as well for the space shuttle program. Also to the left, you'll find the American flag flying on its flagpole, and at the base of the flagpole, there's a blue rectangular box sitting right next to it. The blue rectangular box is the official countdown clock for Launch Complex 39, and this is the newer countdown clock sitting here. It was added in after the space shuttle program retired. The original countdown clock that was stationed there for both the Apollo and space shuttle program eras just used incandescent light bulbs, and it was the third most watched clock in the world, and it now resides on the front entrance of the Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex, which you might have seen when you walked in today. Over here to the right, photo opportunity, the south side or the front side of the vehicle assembly building. Good photo opportunity here. We're just within a city block away from the transfer aisle door of the vehicle assembly building. It's that large gray door you see there. Now just to the left of the vehicle assembly building, we're coming into view of 3 identically sized buildings. 2 of them have blue stripes around the roof with blue painted doors. The third one has a mural of a Capt on the front face of its building. That's going to be coming in view here as soon as we cross the next intersection. It'll be directly to our right, looking straight down the road. These 3 buildings originally were called orbiter processing facilities, and they were built for the space shuttle program. Now, this is where the shuttle orbiters were stored and serviced during their time here on Earth. Now that the shuttle program has retired, a company called Boeing has moved into all 3 of them. Now, Boeing's been working with the United States Air Force on a couple experimental projects, but Boeing is also part of the commercial crew program, just like SpaceX. Boeing has also built a crew capsule as well to be able to take astronauts from here to the International Space Station.
The Center Lunar River? We're going to go learn about Apollo. Welcome to the business end of the Saturn V. Running for scale. This was a little presentation of the launch of Apollo. Before that, we had Apollo 7 just to show that yes, we could actually launch a rocket and not kill anybody. You've been to Houston, everything's outside. Here. There's another big one. Ah, here. There's a very Fisher space banner. Yep, the Fisher space pen. They made a big deal. This is the pen that went into space. Now, there's the old joke about how they spent untold gobs of money to develop this pen, while the Russians just used a pencil. The problem with that joke is that it kind of undercuts a certain thing, is that you don't want little pencil filings floating around inside of a space capsule. So, no, a pencil is not an option. So what it says more about, you know, it's that we are willing to work things out to make sure stupid shit like that doesn't happen. So we don't have a, you know, eraser, you know, rub-ins or graphite things from the pencil getting into the equipment and causing alarms that are easily avoided. Whereas the Russians like, nah, sure, gotta use a pencil. What happens, it happens. Oh, here you go. A little scaled down version. Some of pros in here. The visible pattern 5. Inside, what is it? There's the limo. Tucked up snug in the... That's actually like an early version of the lamb because they got rid of that duct and put it in the front door. Yeah. Still walking by the Saturn V. Huh. Stuff the hairs of the street. You're supposed to. I got a kick out of replaying Kennedy's big speech about we choose to go to the moon. Is they're leaving the bit, because it was Rice University. Why across the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? People, the context of that line is Rice was always playing University of Texas and always getting their asses kicked, but they kept trying. God bless them. And it took a minute, but the applause on there is more for the line of why does Rice play Texas? Of course, here we go. Get a close-up look at the lamb. That's a good ration out there.
I don't know if that's a real one. It looks like it. Looks like the one at Grumman's. See, at well now they have this one, but they have it set so that the whole area around you, you're only looking for a small area like that. So when you look through
Episode of From the Earth to the Moon. Just going into the whole development of the lamb and how they started off with one very futuristic, big bowl thing, and then basically scaled down what we got there. And realized we don't need that, and they don't need chairs, so they make the windows a lot smaller and lose the front docking. Just need one on top. Okay. And eventually we got this. Let's see what we got around here. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Sorry. Well, let's go this way. I think I came in the wrong direction. There you go.
Emily.
All right. All right. Yeah, I came in the wrong end. My understanding was the original plan was that Gus was going to be the first man to walk on the moon. But they really wanted a Mercury accident to do it. But obviously that got cut short by this incident. Let's get back out here. I came in the wrong end. Gotta cut to the chase. Yeah, I'm going very fine through here. There's also probably a watch just in the top or something. Capsule escape system. Activities was fun. We'll get back to this. Main visitor center area. The Mars. Crazy. The moon. And Mars, ladies and gentlemen. Here. Okay. Here. This would be Orion, a little taste of Orion, which has been aptly called Apollo on steroids. Larger crew, much larger capsule.
Which increases our happiness and is necessary for making vitamin D.
And that's the rocket that'll take them there, apparently. Sit down for a bit here. Oh! And we'll see what's going on. Here we got. If you watch The Martian at all, and let's never mind the 50 million times Kid Sisters watch it, you recognize this vehicle. Also, here's some things. Good job is here. Curiosity. Fortunately, they're not in a hurry up there because they travel very, very slow. Different heat shields. Mercury is that big, Gemini is that big, and Apollo, and of course Orion is the big boss. It gives you a clear idea of the difference in size of the different capsules. This is the ass end.
Your captains are doing in central space, so they have somewhere to go and relax.
This will be the next big rover to get over there. Yeah. What's that? Yeah. Time to gift shop, do some shopping.